Here we are. Vicinity Cluster, Flint of Outworld. So, returning to his journey, he orientated on faint Sirius, then slid towards the nearby region where Sol was to be found. The instrument magnified 10 times, which meant that the stars of up to 8.5 magnitude should be visible. But magnification was not enough. So the scope did not fetch insufficient light. So to provide proper clarity at night, so Sol, magnitude 7.5, was a difficult identification, even for Flint's sharp eye. For the half-blind shaman, it was impossible. Now Flint was tempted to lie, knowing how important it was to the old man to spot Sol, even second-hand. This night and every night of the season it was in the night sky. But the shaman had an uncanny knack for spotting that sort of thing. Then faintly he saw it. Twin stars, Sol and Toliman. He cried exuberantly, Sol and Toliman. The shaman echoed. The words were like a prayer of thanksgiving. Flint set down the telescope. The ritual had been honoured. They had seen Sol tonight. There was still an hour until dawn. And the shaman made no move to raise for the walk down the mountain. This is a long journey. Flint had work to do, but he had learned not to hustle the old man. The shaman had never quite acclimatized to the 15-hour days of Outworld. He would sleep one full night, 7.5 hours, then stay up a day and a night, 15 hours straight. Then nap in the daytime. I mean, come on. We know this kind of thing. He had, he said, been born to a 24-hour cycle, 8 hours asleep and 16 hours awake, and this was as close as he could make it on Outworld. Flint once had tried to duplicate that odd rhythm, but it had made him irritable and muddle-minded. No one could adopt shaman ways except the shaman. Sometimes the shaman liked to talk a bit. As he neared the end of the day and night, the vigil, Flint pretended to the other tribesmen that he merely humoured the old fogey. But the truth was that the shaman's words were almost always fraught with meaning and unexpected revelations. He had taught Flint amazing things, and some of the best had been almost by accident. Well, no, a shaman never teaches by accident. I mean, come on. Shaman, if I may ask, asked boy. The man replied immediately, and Flint knew that this was indeed a talking night. Perhaps it would make his early awakening worthwhile, apart from the necessity of the helping the old man up the steep hill. What was it like on Sol? Not Sol, Flint. Earth. Sol is the star, Earth the planet, just as Etamin is the star here, and Outworld the planet. A small star, Sol, and a small planet. Actually, I tend to disagree. I think we have another star. I think that it's not just Sol. I think there is another star here. Anyway, that's my perspective. Sol and a small planet. 'Tis true, but the home of all men and still Lord of all Sol's sphere. Flint knew Etamin was 100 times as brilliant as Sol, and Outworld was twice Earth's mass. That was why Outworld, though 10 times as far from its star as Earth was from Sol, had a similar climate, lower density, heavier atmosphere, faster rotation, brought the surface gravity down to 10% of Earth's, effectively. So man had been able to colonize and survive here. Of course, Outworld's year was 30 times as long, but what the shaman called a severe processional wobble provided seasons similar to Earth's. All this was but a fraction of the knowledge the shaman had dispensed in the course of all prior conversations. The tribesmen hardly cared. As long as hunting was good, etc. But Flint was fascinated and always wanted to comprehend more. We have to comprehend more. Earth, of course, Flint said. But the planet, was it like this? With rains and vines and dinosaurs and. Well, that's kind of reaching, but hey, this is what this guy wrote, and I like his stories. The shaman laughed, but had to stop when it triggered off his cough. Yes and no. He gasped after a bit. Rains, yes. Every few days in some sections, but no vines. Not such as you mean. None you could really climb on. Dinosaurs? Yeah, not today. Only long enough ago, 100 million years ago. Only birds and mammals and fish and a few small reptiles. Hey, don't forget the insects, I say, because the insects have been around a very long time. I love bumblebees. I actually like wasps and hornets. None of them have ever stung me. The only thing that's ever stung me are freaking mosquitoes. Anyway, none you could really climb. Dinosaurs? Not today. Only long ago, 100 million years ago. Only birds and mammals and fish and a few small reptiles, and not many wild animals, with the human species overrunning the last wilderness areas. Well, that's not actually the humans. That's what I call the Borg. I'm always going to interject with these stories because these things made me think about life a lot when I first read them. This is why I've got to read them again. Anyway, I find it kind of funny. It is funny. With human species running the last wilderness areas, Earth is crowded. No, it's not. It's badly managed. boy. More crowded than you can imagine. Hundreds, thousands of people per square mile. Even more. Flint had heard this before. But he allowed for exaggeration. And there we are. It would be impossible for the land to support more than 10 or 15 people per square mile. The game would all be destroyed by overhunting. He had experience he had experience hunting. He knew the limits. Why is there such a difference, Shaman? Why isn't Outworld just like Earth, since it was colonized directly from Earth? An excellent question. The experts have wrestled with that one for decades, Flint. The answer is we don't really know. Now, haven't we come across this before? So, all these experts that are supposed to really freaking know what they're doing, they don't really know. And I'm really sorry. I have to underline this one because I'd forgotten about this in this book. And I'm literally only a few pages in. So it's funny because they keep saying they don't really know. Then they're not experts. There must be a reason, Flint said. On that reason, I would hope that you would go and, because I've thought about this a lot, actually. I'm not from this book, from other experiences, but it's important that we actually observe our life path. Thank you very much for listening, and I bid thee good night.